The second section that we have, or segment that we have, is called Pro Tips.
Pro Tips.
And Pro Tips is for maybe the person who is looking to buy their first laundromat, or the person who maybe has a laundromat and wants to start a pickup and delivery, or the person who doesn't have a laundromat but wants to start a pickup and delivery. So Pro Tips is, what advice do you have for them to help get them started in the right direction? What do they need to know before they get going?
Yeah, so getting into this business, I think that I've in my 20 years in the industry, everyone has like a friend or an uncle or somebody that heard about the business and wants to get into it, and so they say, well, you talk to them, and I reach out to them, and I think I've talked more people out of getting into the business than getting into the business. And I think that I guess I take that responsibility seriously. If somebody's coming to me, I know they're looking with their nest egg and they're going to, invest their hard-earned life savings into a business. I don't take that lightly. So I think that, I tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think getting to somebody like that is important. And so going to a car salesman and asking them about why, if they think it's a good idea or how they should buy this car is not always the best resource. So trying to find an unbiased resource about getting into the industry where you can get some facts, certainly I'm not the only one, but I think listening to your podcast is certainly helpful. The Coin Laundry Association is great. It's a great resource for anyone looking to get into the industry. But and then you gotta be realistic with your capital structure and what you want to do. So there's different avenues, as some of them we touched upon today. There's, the big box laundromat. There's the people that want to, build a chain of laundromats in a region. There's more of the lower cost of entry, as we described with the Mr. Jeff traditional box. If you don't have the, robust capital structure to get into. So I would say that doing all that soul searching up front, and then understanding the level of commitment. I think that this is largely sold as a absentee business to a lot of people, and I think that I discourage people from thinking that way. It's certainly, like I said, it's a better quality of life than typically in the restaurant industry. Especially if you're good at recruiting, building, and developing a staff, but somebody needs to lead them, and especially in the beginning, building that culture is intensive. And I think that the owners should be there and understand their business, understand the loopholes, the shortcuts, in order to manage it better. So I think being realistic about the time commitment. And then this is, it's a different podcast, to be honest with you, to all the things that I would tell somebody getting to, from the real estate perspective to the design and layout of the store to, what their marketing approach is. Like, there's so many things to consider that I wouldn't take it lightly, especially in the traditional, if they're putting a large amount of capital into it. So
yeah, maybe
exposure to competition. The one thing to think about when you're putting in $1.5 million asset is not only is it going to be successful today, but is it going to be successful 5, 10, 20 years from today? And knowing how you're defensively positioned in the market is also important, because you could build it in a good spot for today, but then you left a prime spot for somebody to take over all your hard work. There's a lot. So I would say call somebody like you or me, talk it through. Spend a good amount of time before you